We are sitting in perfect mental health. Sydney Banks said this in the 1970s, that we are sitting in perfect mental health. Now, people seem to be talking a lot about mental health these days, and what I see around mental health and the quote that Sydney Banks said is that mental health, we are already mentally and emotionally healthy. There is nothing that can take us away from that well-being. Nothing can take away our emotional well-being, and nothing can add to our emotional well-being. When we are feeling mentally drained or mentally unhealthy, all that's happening is that we're having a human experience. Nothing abnormal is going on. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You don't need fixing. You don't need coping mechanisms. You don't need anything to make you emotionally or mentally healthy. Now that's quite a bold statement. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean when I say there is nothing we need to make us mentally and emotionally healthy? We are already that. We are born mentally and emotionally healthy. So in the moments when, let's go right back to the beginning, a baby, they feel mentally and emotionally unhealthy if when they're crying, they are sad, they are scared, they are emotional, they want something. There's something that they feel that they need, that they're not okay until they get this need fulfilled. And whether it's their parent picking them up, or they're getting some food, or they're getting changed, and then they feel better again, and that's it, they're okay. They have no judgment and no thought on that state, that they're crying, and that emotion. They don't add anything to it. They don't add more, oh, I'm crying, so there's something wrong with me. They're just crying, and then the need gets met and they're okay. They come back to that okayness. They're in that present moment. They cry and then they're okay. It's the same with a toddler. So a few more years on from a newborn, they have this massive meltdown, massive tears, massive cries, and then it's over and they're playing and they're perfectly fine again. They don't question it. And then we fast forward a bit more to about 7 or 8, and you start to notice, I look after a nearly 8-year-old, and I have noticed his thinking has become very different to his sister, who's 5, where he is very analytical and judgmental of himself and why he feels something or why something's happening. And if it's starting from about the age of 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or whenever it, that's a very young age. So imagine if you're now in your 20s or your 30s, and since you were 7, you were analytically and critically judging yourself for having a normal human experience. It's no wonder the world is the way it is right now, that we believe there is something wrong with us when we're feeling anxious or scared or insecure or angry or frustrated, or any of those sort of what we would term negative emotions. All that's happening is that we're feeling the thinking that is arising in us in that moment, and we link it to outside circumstances, and that's the mistake. It isn't attached. There isn't a cause and effect. We're only ever feeling the thinking that arises. So when I watch this 7-year-old critically analyse himself, or I watch a 30-year-old or 40-year-old critically analyse themselves, I'm anxious, my mental health is not very good right now, it's because of this and this and this and that. And they list all the things that is affecting their mental health, when none of that is true. The only thing that is ever causing you to believe you are not mentally healthy is the thoughts you're having in the moment. It isn't true. That it's just that moment, like that newborn baby who is screaming and crying, or that toddler who is screaming and crying and having a tantrum. In that moment, they feel like they are mentally unhealthy, emotionally unhealthy. And then that moment passes. But what we do as we get older, as I can see now as a 7 or 8 year old, all the way up into 20s, 30s, 40s and beyond, is we feel that illusion of feeling mentally, emotionally unhealthy, and then we judge it. Oh, well, I cried 5 times yesterday and I didn't get out of bed and I was anxious last week and last month, and actually I've been, and it creates more anxious thinking, more unhealthy, mentally unhealthy, emotionally unhealthy thoughts. And we get stuck in that loop of believing that we are mentally and emotionally unhealthy. So when we look at it at face value and we flip it and say, okay, well, if my starting point is mental health, I am mentally healthy, that is my starting point, anything else can't be true. If you're starting from a mentally healthy space, which we all are, every day, every moment, every human who is born starts from a mentally and emotionally healthy space. It's just the illusion of thought that we are buying into, that we are not emotionally or mentally healthy. So I hope there was something helpful in that, and if you are having a tough time at the moment, please know that I am not dismissing your emotions. That's not what I'm doing at all. Your emotions are definitely valid, and it's not about ignoring them either. It's about knowing your starting point, that we are sitting in perfect mental health. There is nothing wrong with you. So I hope there was something helpful in that. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. And if you would like to take part in my live webinar, it's twice a month I do a live webinar called There Is an Easier Way, and the next one is on the 22nd of February at 10 a.m. UK time. So if you're interested in that, please click the link below to my Facebook group and all the information is there. And yeah, feel free to comment below, subscribe to my channel, and please share if you feel that somebody would benefit from this video. Lots of love, all the best, and have a fabulous day.